But we need issues like this. We need problems. Sometimes issues and problems are good. Why, you may ask? Because it weeds out the weaklings. It weeds out people who you know that they don't believe the way their mouth is saying. For example, look at this right here. This is just incredible. This is Christians bowing down to Baal. Baal was a god from the ancient in the Bible, right? From the people that didn't believe in our God, which is Yahweh, Jehovah. America's largest Christian adoption agency will now work with LGBT parents, the peril of separating values from action. Again, look what it says here. Bethany, this is from ChristianHeadlines.com. Bethany Christian Services is the largest Christian adoption agency in the United States. This week, the organization announced that it will begin providing services to LGBTQ parents nationwide. Their decision is in response to requirements from various states and agencies serve such couples to maintain their governmental contract. Again, Christians who we believe that God made man and woman, that in the word marriage, only, I did this example the other day, but I guess it's worthwhile doing a super fast one. That in the word marriage, only two sexes are there. Remember what I did? Remember this? When I went Charlie Chaplin on you guys, I went. Hey, stop it right there, Valentine. Exactly, right? So the sexes belong together. And when you do that correctly, then you get a child. So a child should not, I believe 100%, that gay parents shouldn't adopt. Why? It's not natural. Meaning, if you do this process together good, right, you get the benefit of a child, right? So the child was a gift from God to that relationship, to that act, right? So a child is supposed to be there with a man and a female. That's just the way the God made it to be. And if these people are Christian, they're just hypocritical now. But I don't know if you guys saw why they are doing it, right? Did you guys saw why they are doing it? I read that, and you guys, I bet you guys didn't pick it up. Why? Listen to this. It's understandable why they're doing it. Look at this. Their decision is in response to requirements from various states that agencies serve such couples, and the key word is the key phrase is to maintain their governmental contracts. Money, 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 money. That's it. It's about the money. It's about the money. That's why it's about the money. Like, what do you expect? It's about the money. So basically, these people are not Christian if they could say they're Christian. They could say, oh, I'm Christian. I believe this, I believe that. No, you're not, my dude. Let's continue here because we're almost getting into the thing. And again, if there is a anti-Christian sentiment, if there is a anti-God sentiment, it's not coming from the Republican Party. It's exclusively coming from the Democratic Party of the United States of America, my friend, exclusively. I'm not saying Republicans are angels, but I'm saying that the anti-God sentiment in the United States of America is coming from the Democratic Party of the United States of America, my friend. Case in point, Rep. Jerry Nadler defends equality. I remember the Equality Act that passed in the House of Representatives when they said, oh, no, sexes don't exist. Men are able to go into women's sports, do records, take away scholarships from women, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That doesn't exist. And Rep. Jerry Nadler says God's will is of no concern. That's actually, to be honest, you know what that is? That's unconstitutional. Yeah, Valentine, but how do you say that that's unconstitutional if the government is not supposed to force religion on you? You're 100% correct. Valentine, or whoever said that right now, Valentine, you're 100% correct. But what is the difference? The government, listen up, conservatives, the government, when they pass laws, are supposed to take into account the religious beliefs of the people of the United States. of America. Why do you say that? Oh, because they cannot pass laws that are unconstitutional, meaning, for example, the Constitution, First Amendment, says that the government should not impede on the ability for me to worship who I want to worship. So they have to take into account, even though if they don't follow it themselves or they don't push it on people themselves, they have to take into account my religious ideas. If they pass a law that is forcing me to accept a certain law, certain aspect that is against my religion, they're supposed to take that into account. That's what the Constitution says. The government should not impede on people's right to pursue or to be able to do pursue whatever religion they want to do, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. This law, the Equality Act, is forcing, for example, a Catholic school. Let's say a Catholic school or a Christian school who's religious. This law will force that school to take biological males and put them in the track team with women, put them in the basketball team with women, etc. So that's violating the religious rights of many people, many institutions. But this dude right here, again, the Democratic Party doesn't believe in that. And why did this happen? Well, a Republican representative said, that he told him, look what he said. Look what he says. The Republican representative by the name of, where's his name at? His last name is Rep. Greg Stoob, Republican from Florida. He quoted this, and this is why he said, Jerry Nadler said, oh yeah, God's will is not of no concern to this Congress. It's not clothing or personal style that offends God, but rather the use of one's appearance to act out or take on a sexual identity different from the one biologically assigned by God. Stoob said, the gender confusion that exists in our culture today is a clear rejection of God's design. And whenever a nation laws no longer reflects the standards of God, that nation is in rebellion against him and will inevitably bear the consequences, the congressman said. I agree 100% with that. And, let me see here. Look what Jerry Nadler said. Mr. Stoob, what any religious tradition describes as God's will is no concern of this Congress. That's unconstitutional right there. You have to take into account, based on the First Amendment of the United States, the government should not impede on anybody, freedom of expression, freedom of religion, etc. You have to take that into concern. The government, for example, let's take God out of the situation that we understand. The government cannot pass any law impeding on people's freedom of expression. They cannot, so they have to take into account people's freedom of expression, even if they themselves don't care about it. Continuing here, thank you for all the people that are here enjoying another beautiful Friday on the Valentine Show. Thank you so much, guys. We're going to be opening up the lines in just a few minutes. Literally, let me see if I could do this whole capitalism thing in about 5 minutes. We're going to be turning it on the lines, and hopefully you guys are not scared to call me, because you guys seem to be scared to call me. Let's continue here. And actually, in the same LGBT segment, again, I'm going to have to make a segment. Alabama Senate approves treatment ban for trans kids. Again, in gist, in Alabama, this just passed the Senate in Alabama. It still has to go to their Senate, Alabama State. It passed the Senate. Now it still has to go to the House of Representatives in Alabama, the Alabama House of Representatives. You cannot transition a child, I think under 18, the law says. Under 19, you cannot transition a child. What does that mean? You cannot give them puberty blockers. You cannot give them hormones, and forget about sexual reassignment surgery. You could not do none of that. No doctors could do that. And it requires schools that if the child is exhibiting any type of sexual identity that is not in step with their biological sex, that they have to report it to their parents. Alabama, when am I moving over there, man? Yeah. Alabama, let's go, Alabama. Yo. To be honest, guys, if this is where the left is going to take it, where there's literally going to be conservative states and democratic states, I am perfectly fine with living in a state where the majority of the people think like I do. I am perfectly fine with that. If you want to call it division, I don't care. Call it division. I'm perfectly fine with that. to be honest. Alabama, great job. Keep up the good work. Hopefully, I think it's going to pass in their Senate, in their House of Representatives, because a similar bill passed. Why are we even talking about transitioning kids? Why? Giving them puberty blockers, giving them hormones, and they still don't know the long-term effects of this. Some of these things are causing people, so I hear that they're causing people, fertility problems.